landmark case heading to the Supreme Court. Justices will hear the opening arguments for a case of a Colorado bake shop owner who refused to bake a cake for a same-sex couple during his religious views, or due to them.
I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I serve everybody that comes in, gay, straight, Catholic, Muslim, atheist. I welcome everybody into my shop. I just don't create cakes for every event that's presented to me.
Here now to discuss is attorney and legal analyst for the Washington Times, Alex Sawyer. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Alex. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So what does this case come down to? Does it come down to, religious rights, or does it come down to the rights of the business, or what is involved here?
So the key arguments that you're going to hear from the baker's side is that this is a free speech case. He's not really taking the religious liberty argument as much as you hear from his legal team about free speech and expression. And they're arguing that a wedding cake is actually a symbolic speech, and that he should not be forced to create something against his religious views. And so on the other side, you have a same-sex couple who has complained after they were turned away by Mr. Phillips to the Civil Rights Commission in Colorado. And so the commission said that the baker did in fact violate the state's anti-discrimination laws, which says you can't turn someone away based on a protected class.
And one of the things that the ACLU is arguing, they're saying, and I'm going to read this, that this is basically akin to a misogynist hardware store owner refusing to sell hammers or grass seed to women. But is there really a comparison there?
You know, there's cases dating back to the 60s all the way through the 90s about not only African Americans but women, as you just mentioned, saying that a business owner can't discriminate against a minority class. So it's just, this is the first time that the Supreme Court's actually going to take up the case dealing with LGBT rights and religious freedom. The interesting person to watch here will be Justice Kennedy. He's the one who authored the 2015 opinion legalizing same-sex marriage across the nation, but he's also seen as very passionate for the First Amendment. Even in that 2015 opinion, he noted that those who have religious views opposing same-sex marriage would still have their right to express that from the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he squares those two issues in this case.
What do you think he'll do?
You know, I think it's too early to tell. I know at the 10 o'clock we'll be hearing the oral arguments, and we might be able to have a glimpse of what way he's leaning when we hear his questions to each side. So maybe later today we'll have a better idea which way he'll swing. I do think that it will come down to a 5-4 decision. It's just interesting to see which side will prevail.
Yeah, and the one thing that the ACLU does not appear to be arguing is this personal and communicative stakes at play versus just really not agreeing with their opinion there at the cake bakery.
Right, and they say this is nothing to do with cakes. It's all about discrimination. On the other hand, you have the baker who says this is all about art. He says that he even named his shop Masterpiece Cakes because he was referring to his master, Jesus Christ, and masterpiece as his artistic expression.
Yeah, and that could be the key right there. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex. We appreciate it. We'll keep our eye on what's happening, and we'll have you back to talk about it.
Thank you.
Thanks.